One of Starfield's rarest achievements is Reach for the Stars for reaching level 100, and today we're going to be going over 2 great ways to farm XP and get all the XP that you need to get those levels. And no glitches or exploits, of course, because we're just going to be using the game's mechanics and kind of take advantage of those to get some little farms built. And now, let's get to hunting. Our first method is going to be one of the best routes to go and even makes you a little bit of money. It only costs around 950 credits to get started and requires no skills to be taken. Yes, that's right, no skills to be taken. That means you can head out of the tutorial and start grinding levels if you really want to. So just get 950 credits or so and head to either New Atlantis or Aquila City to buy resources. For the purposes of this video, we're just going to be going to New Atlantis since that's where everyone will go first anyway. So fly there, and assuming that you don't already know where the general shop is here, once you land you can go straight down the main path and then over to the left, continuing on this main path, and basically just go straight forward to find Jemison Mercantile. Your shopping list today will be 14 aluminum, 2 beryllium, 10 cobalt, 2 fiber, 20 iron, 15 nickel, 16 tungsten, and 2 zero wire. Now with that, we'll go to the absolute best starting place for the crafting type of XP farming, Bessel 3B. This is because it has the right mix of resources, a specific area where you can have all of them at one outpost, and each hour there is 58 hours universal time. I'll explain why that's so good in a minute. So when you're trying to find somewhere to land here, we're going to scan and then find this very specific area right here. Now going out from the point of these 3 dots and over towards the iron deposit, you're going to keep looking at landing spots to check the biome. You can of course see that on the right side when you pick a landing spot. There's going to be a very specific area where you can check the biome and you can barely move it over to go between the mountains, the hills, and the rocky desert biomes. We want to be right on the edge of all 3 of these. It took me a little bit to get to it each time that I tried, but as long as it looks similar to where I land in a second, you should be alright. If you don't find it when you land, you can always move your landing spot over to the side a little bit to get it out of the way by landing close by, but just a bit off to the side, and then go back and try to find the right spot for the mix again. So, once you find a spot that lets you barely move between the 3 biomes, you can go check it out. You're going to be looking for an area like this with the black rocks and crystal looking formations. Then look around and hopefully you'll see this mountain or a similar one. Head over to that and get your outpost out to see what resources are in range. You can of course see that by checking in the top left at the resource list when you have your outpost out. And as you move it around, you can see that they're added or removed as they come into range. Now heading along the base of the mountain, the biomes should change to a flatter, round rock formation that shows up there. Around that area where the 3 meet is going to be that sweet spot. You're looking for nickel, aluminum, cobalt, and iron all sitting on the same outpost. Now with that outpost made, we can get to business. You'll want to start out with an aluminum and an iron extractor, and some wind turbines to power those. Throw a bed down and you have unlimited aluminum and iron being generated. One thing to note is that you don't have to go pick up materials from either of those, because when you're at an outpost, you have all of the materials available from those storage containers and your ship available to you. Now, moving on to the bed, we can sleep an hour to fill up the extractors. Only an hour, you say? Well, aside from the great combination of materials that you can get from a single outpost, when you sleep here for an hour, you're actually sleeping 58 hours universal time. And little pro tip, the extractors go by universal time. That makes this one of, if not the best places to farm resources like this, so sleep an hour and we can finish up with a cobalt and a nickel extractor. Another wind turbine or 2 to power those, and the last major part of the puzzle is an industrial workbench. Now you can go into that and see that we'll be generating the resources to craft adaptive frames and also ISO-centered magnets. Yes, that's right, we're going to be doing both of those, not just adaptive frames. So you're going to get 1 XP per craft and you can do them in batches of 99. The only thing limiting you at this point is going to be storage. Luckily, all you need for solid storage containers is aluminum and iron, plus adaptive frames, but we can just make those with the same resources. So make a good amount of storage for each of the 4 resources and wire them up. Now when you sleep for an hour or 2, you're gonna have an insane amount of resources that get generated. Then just get up out of bed and get to crafting as many frames and magnets as you can to spam XP. An added bonus that you'll get from sleeping even just 1 hour is going to get you the well-rested perk and get an XP bonus. Add on a tea for a little extra XP bonus and you're good to grind out as much XP as you need. Now that is the easier and honestly probably best option you're going to get for a legit XP grind setup, but let's go over another very nice option just so you can mix it up a little bit. This one does take a little bit more preparation though, because it requires you to get the zoology skill for animal husbandry. This one is pretty simple and mainly just requires a bit of resources up front, a bit of scanning, and a weapon, and I guess a lot of ammo. Now, the way that you get your ammo and weapons can be however you want. I'm not gonna do any of the dumb vendor chest glitches because it's insanely easy to make money in this game just by playing it normally. Plus, they just patched it out, so if you're hurting for money that bad, just go to the first XP farm and sell all the materials that you make from that. Anyway, once you have your ammo and weapons sorted, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have the first zoology skill unlocked, like I said, and you don't have to go any further down than that. Then, just like with the first one, we're gonna have a little bit of a shopping list. You'll need to get adaptive frames, aluminum, reactive gauges, and sealant. The amounts of each varies depending on the level that you want to scale this to, so that part's going to be up to you. Next up, you're going to want to pick a high level system and a planet with fauna that's easy to kill. I picked Pyras for mine because in the savanna or sandy desert biomes you can find these exo runners. After fully scanning those, you get over 100 XP for each one you kill. So fully scan it and it'll be available for animal husbandry and you can start your very own ranch. Then just pick a flat area to make your outpost in and start placing animal husbandry stations down, preferably in a circular fashion around a center point where you'll be stationed. And then you can just go down the line shooting them to farm XP and level up your combat skills. This does get faster the lower your difficulty and the more skills you take in the combat tree. I found it to be a lot slower than the first method, but to be fair, I didn't really spec much into combat. But yeah, those are going to be 2 of the best ways to farm XP and gain levels while trying to go for the Reach for the Stars achievement. And if you're working on 100%ing the game, you're going to want to check out my playlist for the rest of my Starfield guides.